Continuing with Genesis 19:14. And Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law who married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy the city. But he seemed to his sons-in-law as one that jested. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters who are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful to him. And they brought him out, and set him outside the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them outside, that he said, Escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all thy plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said to them, Oh, not so, my lord. Behold now, thy servant has found favor in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast shown to me in saving my life. I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me, and I die. Behold now, this city is near to flee to, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape there. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said to him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape there, for I cannot do anything till thou be come there. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Amorah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord, and he looked toward Sodom and Amorah, and toward all the land of the plain. And behold, and lo, the smoke of the country went up like the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zoar, and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said to the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come into us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said to the younger, Behold, I lay last night with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in, and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bore a son, and called his name Moab. He is the father of Moab to this day. And the younger, she also bore a son, and called his name Ben-Ami. He is the father of the children of Ammon to this day. And Abraham journeyed from there toward the Negev, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister. And Avimelech king of Gerar sent and took Sarah. But God came to Avimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, Behold, thou art a dead man, because of the woman whom thou hast taken, for she is the man's wife. But Avimelech had not come near her. And he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Said he not to me, She is my sister? And she, even herself, said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. And God said to him in a dream, I too know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for also withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore I did not permit thee to touch her. Now therefore restore the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning, and called all his servants, and told all these things in their ears. And the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham, and said to him, What hast thou done to us? And what have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and my kingdom a great sin? Thou hast done deeds to me that ought not be done. And Abimelech said to Abraham, What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife. And it came to pass, when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said to her, This is the kindness which thou shalt show me. At every place where we shall come, say of me, He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants, and gave them to Abraham, and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before thee, dwell where it pleases thee. And to Sarah he said, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, it is thee a covering of thy eyes to all that are with thee, and unto all others. Thus she was reproved. So Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bore children. For the Lord had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said. And the Lord did to Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born to him, whom Sarah bore to him, Yitzhak. And Abraham circumcised his son Yitzhak, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Yitzhak was born to him. And Sarah said, God has made laughter for me, so that all that will hear will laugh with me. And she said, Who would have said to Abraham that Sarah should give children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast on the same day that Yitzhak was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Mitzrian, whom she had born to Abraham, mocking. So she said to Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, with Yitzhak. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's eyes because of his son. And God said to Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman. And all that Sarah has said to thee, hearken to her voice. For in Yitzchak shall thy seed be called. And also of the sons of the bondwoman I will make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took bread and a little bottle of water, and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and sat down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot. For she said, Let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him, and lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad. And the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven, and said to her, What ails thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thy hand, for I will make him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness. And he became an archer, and he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took him a wife out of the land of Mitzrayim. That's Genesis 21 up to 22.